Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and today is Saturn's Day, also known as Saturday, June 18th, 2022. Let's see here. Starting us off in the year 1155, Pope Adrian IV crowned Frederick I of Barbarossa Roman German Emperor. 1538, the Treaty of Nice ended a war between Emperor Charles V and King French I. King French. Interesting. 1541, Irish Parliament selected Henry VIII of England as King of Ireland. 1629, sea battle at Dugnes. Pétain beat the Dunkirkers, the commerce raiders in the service of the Spanish monarchy. Good. 1682, English Quaker William Penn founded Philadelphia in the Pennsylvania colony. That kind of looks like the Quaker Oats guy, actually. Let's see here. Who is the Quaker Oats guy? The Quaker Oats man is not a guy. Let's see here. Is it William Penn? The Quaker Oats man is not an actual person. His image is that of a man dressed in the Quaker garb, chosen because the Quaker faith projected the values of honesty, integrity, purity, and strength. Somebody else is thinking it was William Penn. But very much like all these what were they? The New Age, the hipsters. Very much like the hipsters, all Quakers look the same. 1815, during the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon and France were defeated by British forces under Wellington and Prussian troops under Blucher. And
so, hold on, Napoleon was defeated?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you did. In the Battle of Waterloo.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
it.
Not thinking clear.
Well, yeah.
Watch it.
But no, like, fun fact about after the Battle of Waterloo, and this is how, the world has got to the way it was. The Rothschilds' messenger got to the UK before the British ones did, and they got the news that Napoleon had lost, but they went around and said Napoleon had won, and they got pretty much all of Britain to sell everything before France came for them. But then it was realized that they had won, and then the Rothschilds sold everything back for dollars on the penny. So, like, they basically owned the country after that, and then they've gone on from, since then. Go check it out. Anyway, moving on up into 1847, American photographer Thomas Martin Easterly took the earliest known photograph of lightning using the daguerreotype process in St. Louis, Missouri. Look at that. The first possible photograph of lightning.
That was amazing for how long it took to snap, and develop.
Yeah. 1847.
Yeah.
So, 1864, during the Battle of Petersburg, Ulysses S. Grant ended 4 days of assaults and began a 9-month siege. Dang, that's rough. 1873, Susan B. Anthony was fined $100, or $2,200 in 2020 value, which would probably be $200 in today's value, for voting for U.S. President in Rochester, New York. She refused to pay, and no further action was taken against her. So she wasn't even thrown in jail. She was just, she was fined. I thought she was arrested, but apparently not. She was fined.
Huh?
She was fined. She didn't pay the fine, and now there's a coin with her on it.
Yeah.
It's a little ironic.
Yeah.
You think?
How did she get to vote? Who let her vote? Is what I want to know.
I maybe she dressed like a man. I don't know.
Be.
Like, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I can look that up. How was Susan B. Anthony able to vote? Anthony argued that she had the right to vote because of the recently adopted 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, part of which read, No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. She should have been a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's an extreme technicality. That's probably why she only got fined. You know?
Why didn't they reinforce the fine? That's really odd.
Well, they
just okay. Never mind.
Well, I mean, like, you know, technically she was in the right.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't have even been fined to begin with.
As you know quite well, technically in the right doesn't keep your ass out of jail all the time.
That's true. I mean,
but you know personally, obviously.
Well,
you know of
borderline personally. So, but yeah, interesting. Let's see here. 1912, the Chicago National Republican Convention split between President Taft and Theodore Roosevelt. After Taft was nominated, Roosevelt and progressive elements of the party formed the Progressive Party, also known as the Bull Moose Party. And that's later on when Mr. Roosevelt here, during a speech, he got shot, like in the chest, an assassination attempt. And he continued on for 4 hours before he sought medical attention.
Lucky he didn't bleed out.
I know, but like nobody is manly enough like that today, anymore. Can you imagine somebody, like, let alone a politician, getting shot and then continuing their speech for 4 hours, and then going like, okay, I'm gonna go to the hospital now. Like, now I'm starting to not feel good, bro. There's a bullet in your chest, 1928, American aviator, or U.S. aviator, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, landing at Bury Point, Wales. So not just as a passenger, but now she's a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So she was the first female passenger and first female pilot. So, and as Sohan said yesterday, she really does look angry. Like, look at that.
Maybe that was on the trip she didn't make.
The
one she didn't make.
Yeah. 1938, future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth, the great Bambino, was signed as a Brooklyn Dodgers coach for the remainder of the season. Nice. 2 years later, 1940, General Charles de Gaulle made his first speech on the BBC to the French people since arriving in London, an appeal to defy Nazi occupiers, regarded as the beginning of French resistance during the Second World War. Vive la Révolution! Vive la France! Also in 1940, Winston Churchill's "This Was Their Finest Hour" speech urging perseverance during Battle of Britain delivered to British House of Commons. Yeah, that's when they were getting bombed and all that stuff. They're still to this day, like, finding munitions and things, and actually there's a real problem with like people during the war finding unexploded, or duds or or whatever, and then keeping them. So, like, they're finding, these things in people's attics, that haven't broken in or anything, but, like, they collected them, they put them in their attic, they forget about them, they die, 1 or 2 generations later, you go up in your attic, there's a fucking bomb up here, what the hell, like, so. 1941, in his 18th World Heavyweight title defense, Joe Louis knocks out Billy Conn in the 13th round in front of a crowd of 54,478 people at the Polo Grounds in New York City.
Great Joe Louis.
Yeah. 1945, William Joyce, or Lord Haw Haw, a fascist politician and Nazi propaganda broadcaster, was charged with treason in England. Yeah, that was his little moniker, Lord Haw Haw.
Sure it isn't Hee Haw?
Well, I'm... but no, like, he was a Nazi sympathizer, and kind of like, in the same vein, kind of like as, like, Tokyo Rose, or, What's-Her-Face, who was captured and out in France or whatever. Like, things like that have, all over the world constantly, with the advent of radio, newspaper, now TV, and all that stuff.
The Blaze channel, when it was a TV channel, did a great deal on Tokyo Rose. How we've misunderstood what her role was in Japan. It's incredible.
Yes.
If you ever get a chance, go to Glenn Beck, the Blaze, and look up Tokyo Rose.
Yeah. By the way, you might want to speak a little louder.
Okay.
I have the microphone pointed at you now, but by the way, you see how my outline here is green, and watch it go away when I go silent.
And if I say anything, there it goes green.
Yeah.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
So that's got a little gravelly throat this morning. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, like you were a little low, and I didn't have the microphone pointed at you. Like I saw that there were some points you were talking, and this wasn't lit up.
Oh.
So I'm not sure because this is Discord, and I'm using OBS. So I think OBS picks you up, maybe not Discord, because it has a different threshold.
Gotcha.
So anyway. 1960, during the U.S. Open Men's Golf at Cherry Hills Country Club, Arnold Palmer staged greatest comeback in tournament history, erases a 7-stroke final round deficit to win his only U.S. Open title by 2 strokes ahead of Jack Nicklaus.
Nicholson.
Nicholas.
It's a mystery.
Jack Nicholson is an actor.
Oh, Jack Nicklaus. You are 100% right. Oh my goodness. I am not with it today.
The Golden Loon, ladies and gentlemen.
Who?
The Golden Loon.
Who's that? Oh, that's me. Okay,
See,
moving on.
Every now and then, you just gotta with malfunctioning equipment, something will connect again. 1967, closing day of the Monterey International Pop Festival, Southern California. The first major U.S. appearances of Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, The Who, and Otis Redding.
Janis Joplin's still one of my all-time favorite women singers. Incredible.
I gotta hear her. I'm not sure if I have.
Oh, man. You gotta hear her.
You know what?
Soul of rock and roll.
As soon as YouTube loads, Janis Joplin. Any particular song you want me to listen to after the show?
Well, there's a lot of them. Nothing comes to mind right now.
Me and Bobby McGee sounds something good, so...
Yeah.
Moving up into 1969, The Wild Bunch, directed by Sam Peckinpah and starring William Holden and Ernest Borgnine, was released. Or Borgnine? I don't know.
Yeah, Borgnine. Yeah.
300.
Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine.
Ooh.
The 9th Borg. He's 9 of 9. 1 year later, in 1970, Edward Heath's Conservative Party won the general election in the UK, replacing the Labour Party. Interesting. 1972, UEFA European Championship Final at the Heysel Stadium in Brussels in Belgium. Gerd Müller scored a brace as West Germany beat the Soviet Union 3-0. Damn. 365 days later, in 1973, Soviet General Secretary Leonid Brezhnev visited the U.S. and President Nixon.
I think I got this from Leonard Brezhnev.
Leonid. There's no R in there. Leonard?
Leonard Brezhnev. Go ahead, move on. I'm botching it.
1976, Bowie Kuhn voids A's sales totaling $35 million of Joe, Rudy, and Rollie Fingers to the Red Sox and Vida Blue to the Yankees. Huh. 1977, Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson got into a dugout altercation. Uh-oh. 1977 as well, Sex Pistols' Johnny Rotten and Paul Cook were beaten by a group of rabble-rousers outside of a London pub. Well, that's not nice.
No, doesn't sound good.
Dang. 1979, Billy Martin became Yankee manager for the second time, replacing Bob Lemon. Hey, wait, this guy looks familiar. Yes, it's the same guy. Yeah. Okay.
He was a ball player before that.
Well, I mean, he has a uniform, so...
Well, he's the manager.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta be a ball player to be a manager, you know? Are there
Yeah.
Are there any sports managers or coaches that haven't played? You know, is that even a thing?
I'm sure there are.
Huh. 1980, Indian human computer Shakuntala Devi set a world record by multiplying 2 random 13-digit numbers in 28 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
She correctly answered that... Oh God, how do I read this? Million, thousand, billion, 7 trillion...
I bet you can't read it in 28 seconds.
Yeah, 7,686,369,774,870 times 2,465,099,745,779
equals our national debt.
Almost.
What is the number after trillion? Quadrillion, isn't it?
Yeah, well, let's see here. Number after trillion. I misspelled that. Quadrillion, you're right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion.
Quintillion is next.
Okay.
Yeah.
22 more rows.
Now here's what is interesting. You go back into the early 1900s or so and ask somebody what comes after a billion. Most wouldn't know.
I'm surprised they had a billion back then.
Well, they had it, but...
Well, yeah.
But that's the point. Now trillion, billion, quadrillion...
Dude,
quintillion.
do you notice how they just stopped putting in the zeros at this point?
Yeah.
It's just... It's groups of 3 zeros. So like, 10... So groups
Well,
of
here's
3 zeros.
Roman numerals. The problem with Roman numerals, too cumbersome.
Yeah.
At what point does our number system become too cumbersome? They figure out something else.
Wow. That is a serious question. Where do we go?
We could get up to, hey, I make $1 billion a year. Yeah, but a loaf of bread costs me $1 million.
Yeah.
Now our numbers don't work.
Well, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, sextillion, septillion, octillion, nontillion, decillion, undecillion, duodecillion, tridecillion, quattordecillion, quindecillion, sexdecillion, septendecillion, octodecillion, novemdecillion. Wow, they're bringing months into this. November, right there.
Yeah.
Vigintillion and centillion. Like... So what is
the
this?
one I've heard of is centillion.
Centillion.
I mean, when you get down into and don't ask me why I've heard it, but just
century, I guess.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's get back on track here. 1983, the 7th Shuttle Mission Challenger 2 launched Sally Ride as the first U.S. female in space. So the Russians did it first, though. The Russians did a lot of stuff first. Soviets. 1991, Boris Yeltsin, the president of Russia, arrived in the U.S. 1999 as well, Everything I Do It For You, single released by Bryan Adams, Billboard Song of the Year in 1991. That's an interesting song. 1993, Expos Dennis Martinez is 92nd Major League Baseball player to win 200 games. That doesn't seem like, a whoop-de-doo thing. Oh, I'm 92nd, woo, I mean, it's still, good.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, of course it's good. They paid him to be good, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, at what point, is it just like, who cares?
Yeah. Why are you pointing him out?
Yeah.
Ethnicity?
Well, potentially, with how everything is going these days.
I mean, they don't put the white guy up there that's done 300.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. They might have. I don't know.
Or black guy or anybody else.
Well,
I'm just guessing. Or do I care?
Let's get out of that train of thought. 1995, memorial service for Elizabeth Montgomery was held at the Cannon Theater in Beverly Hills. I don't know who that was, but okay. 1995, all-black Johan Lemieux scored the try of the Rugby World Cup, running over Mike Catt in New Zealand's 45-29 defeat in England. Why do they have to word it like that? He ran him over? Jeez.
Yeah. Here we go.
1996, Ted Kaczynski, suspected of being the Unabomber, was indicted on 10 criminal court counts. Dang. 1999, Hindi film Hum Dil Di Chuk Sanam, premiered, directed by Sanjay Leela Bhansali, starring Salman Khan, Ajay Devgan, and Aishwarya Rai. Alright. 2001, we did not have a Space Odyssey, but The Fast and Furious, film directed by Rob Cohen, starring Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, and Michelle Rodriguez, premiered. Now, I saw a picture, actually, memes.
Wasn't that guy killed in a speeding accident or something in a hot race car?
I'm thinking about the Jackass guy?
No. I'm thinking about the guy in the picture right there. What's his name?
Paul Walker?
Yeah.
Oh, in the movie?
No, in real life.
Paul Walker. Yeah, you're right. Car accident, November 30th, 2013. Only 40.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Took a race car out with a buddy or something. Took it around the block to see what it could do and crashed.
Well, he found out, didn't he? He played around. But this is what I was talking about. If you want to feel old, this is what they were stealing in the first Fast and Furious.
Ah!
Look at that. VHS's, a VHS TV combo, color with remote control, Panasonic. They're stealing a truck full of all of this antique equipment. Isn't that something? Sohen finally joined us today. Mr. Sohen, how you doing?
Okay.
All right. We are in the year 2003.
Okay.
Going from the On This Day website. While you're catching up to speed, I'm going to take the 2003 here one. Google launched AdSense. Oh, I hate it. I hate that. I hate AdSense so much. A program that enables website publishers to serve ads targeted to the specific content of their individual web pages, many of which, like On This Day, which was then HistoryOrb.com, go on to start their own publishing businesses. So, you can argue, oh, it's good because it brought to you this source, but at the same time, they target us. They harvest what we do. They data mine our everyday activities, and then they give us advertisements specifically targeted towards us as individuals. It's like, where do you draw the line in privacy? You can also argue, that it's good because, now you don't have to spend so much time researching, lawnmowers or TVs or pet food or whatever it is that you're doing. But, you're surrendering part of yourself that you'll never get back.
There's always a trade-off.
Yeah. I mean, what was it that Benjamin Franklin said? Those who surrender their liberties for security get neither.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, look at us now. Anyway, why don't you take 2005 here, sir?
2005, David Tennant's first appearance as the 10th Doctor in BBC's Doctor Who episode The Pardon of the Ways.
Ah, nice. He was a good doctor. 2010, Recovery, the 7th studio album by Eminem, was released. This was the best-selling album worldwide in 2010. Interesting.
2014, British actor Ian McKellen is awarded an honorary degree by Cambridge University, becoming a Doctor of Letters.
What does that even mean? What is a Doctor of Letters?
He can make you a mean sandwich.
That sounds tasty. Let's see here. Doctor of Letters is a terminal degree in the humanities that, depending on the country, is a higher doctorate after the Doctor of Philosophy degree or equivalent to a higher doctorate such as the Doctor of Science. Wow. So that guy just got handed
the Doctor of Science.
That guy got handed a PhD, but
well,
I'm pretty sure
he's Magneto.
What?
Well, he's Magneto. What would you expect?
That is true. That is true. And he was also Gandalf or Saruman? Which one?
Gandalf. Saruman was Christopher Lee.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he earned it. He was knighted, so...
Yes, he was.
Yeah. 2014 as well, King Juan Carlos I of Spain abdicated the Spanish throne to make way for his son, Felipe VI. Man, I didn't even know that we're still doing that shit today.
Yeah.
Abdicating thrones and stuff, well, then again, there is a Queen of England.
Yeah.
But
there are kings and queens all over the place.
What is Spain anyway? Are they still a monarchy, or are they a democracy? Are they a republic? What governments? Oh, hold on, Spain. I can just look on their wiki. Spain wiki. Let's see here. Nationality, government, a unitary parliamentary constitutional monarchy. So they are still a monarchy.
Well,
that's interesting.
It's like England. Look up England. Same thing. They don't have the power to rule, but they're still the monarchy.
That is true because Canada and Australia are still technically under the crown too. They still have to abide by, even though they're their own sovereign nations, they do still answer to a higher power. Unlike us, because we straight up, got out of there. So
I don't know if answer to a higher power is the right terminology, though.
Well, not talking about God or anything. I'm talking about political.
I'm talking about another political.
Yeah.
Party above them.
Does the UK own Canada?
No.
And Although Canada is an independent country, Britain's Queen Elizabeth remains the nation's head of state.
Oh, okay, there you go. They don't have to answer to her anymore in the Parliament. The British Parliament has to answer to her.
Australia.
I didn't know that.
The final constitutional ties between the United Kingdom and Australia ended in 1986 with the passing of the Australia Act, 1986. So I think they are their own, but Canada is not. They still have to answer to the Crown. So, yeah.
Well, they don't have to answer to it, but she's still recognized as the head of state. She's a
figure. That makes you a limey! You're worse than a Canadian! You're worse than a French Canadian! At least France helped this nation!
Moving on.
So, you want to take 2015?
Yeah, 2015, Pope Francis blames human selfishness for global warming and his name, Lauderdale be praised, or the care of our common home. Fuck you, Pope.
Pope Francis was after Benedict, right? Because there was John Paul II, then Benedict, and now Francis, right?
Yeah, it's the current Pope.
Okay. 2 years later, in 2017, French President Emmanuel Macron's party, Les Républicains en Marche, and allies won a majority in the second round French legislative elections. So what?
Oh. Okay. 2018. U.S. President Donald Trump orders military to set up a sixth branch of the military, a Space Force.
Hey! Happy birthday, Space Force! 4 years old already.
Jeez, that's amazing.
Wow. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a huge joke, you know?
Yeah.
And actually, that reminds me of something. So, the literal milliseconds Biden went into office, he abolished everything Trump did except for one thing. And what was that one thing?
It's got to be the Space Force.
The Space Force. Why?
Wouldn't that have to go through Congress, though?
Please.
I mean,
things just happen.
How did the Space Force get developed? It can't be an executive order.
I think it was. Actually, let's see here. How did the Space Force come to be? The establishment of the USSF, the United States Space Force, resulted from the widespread recognition that space was a national security imperative. When combined with the growing threat posed by near-peer competitors in space, it became clear that there was a need for a military service focused solely on pursuing superiority in the space domain. So that sounds like an executive order.
Doesn't tell us anything.
Well,
it tells us the need for it.
Yeah, but by that need, an extension, an executive order is validated.
Ask if it went through Congress.
Did Space Force go through Congress? Legislative provisions for the Space Force were included in the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act, which was signed into law on December 20th, 2019.
Okay, so therefore, Biden can't get rid of it. It has to go through Congress to get rid of the Space Force.
Dad, these people just do whatever the hell they want anyway. You really think that?
Okay, go on.
Anyway, moving on up into 2020, just 2 years ago, U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Obama-era Dreamers program, DACA, enabling undocumented migrant children ability to study and work, can stay. I'm all for people, I'm all for human rights, but, we gotta follow by the rules here.
No, we're not.
If the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't be doing this shit for us. So, anyway, moving on into Burst. Why don't you start us off, Mr. Sohan?
Hold on, I gotta go back.
Yeah. So yeah.
59. Eleanor of England, Countess of Bar. 1318, Eleanor of Woodstock. 1511, Bartolomeo Ammunati.
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
Italian architect and sculptor who designed the Ponte Santa Catina.
I have to check this out. Pointy. Oh, this. So is it just the river or? It is a Renaissance bridge in Florence, Italy. Okay, so it is just the bridge. That's what I meant to say, not the river. I was thinking like the whole river front or the bridge or what. So they designed this bridge. I like to look up what architects do, because architecture is one of my enjoyments. So anyway, 1757. Gervasio Antonio de Posadas was an Argentine lawyer and politician who was the first supreme director of the United Provinces of the Rio de la Plata, dying in 1833. Oh God. 1815, we have Ludwig Freiherr von und Zerder ten Rathamhausen, was a German general, dying in 1881. 1816, Hélène Napoleon Bonaparte, French daughter of Napoleon, dying in 1907.
1834, Auguste Theodore Paul de Bourgail, French philosopher and academic. 1845, Charles Louis Alphonse Laurent, French physician and parasitologist. That's got to be something with parasite.
Parasitologist, I believe so. Let me check that real quick here. Parasitologists study parasites wherever they occur and whether they are viruses, bacteria, worms, or insects. Parasites are organisms, and then the information trails off about the wiki. I'm just going to look for the wiki. Here we go. Parasitology. Is the study of parasites, their hosts, and the relationship between them. As a biological discipline, the scope of parasitology is not determined by the organism or environment in question, but by their way of life. This means it forms a synthesis of other disciplines and draws on techniques from fields such as cell biology, bioinformatics, biochemistry, molecular biology, immunology, genetics, evolution, and ecology. Link to this wiki will be in the underbar. You have one more, sir.
1854, E.W. Scripps, English publisher and founder of the E.W. Scripps Company.
I thought he was American.
He is American.
Oh, you said English. Sorry. Anyway, his full name is Edward Willis Scripps, for anyone interested. I'm going to edit that in here real quick. Anyway, 1857, we have Henry Clay Folger, an American businessman and philanthropist who founded the Folger Shakespeare Library, dying in 1930. 1877, James Montgomery Flagg was born on this date. He was an American painter and illustrator, dying in 1960. What a last name, Flagg, you know? That's not a name you see waved around a lot.
Oh, boo.
I wonder if it's
only you.
I wonder if it's Polish. 1881, Zoltán Halmé was a Hungarian swimmer. He died in 1956. Oh, why haven't I done this?
1900, Fausta Varas, Jet U.S. relief worker, editor, and fundraiser. 1907, Fritz John Filchon, Swiss U.S. metaphysicist, philosopher, and author.
Yeah, that's a weird name.
1914, E.G. Marshall, U.S. actor.
E.G. Marshall, his full name. Let's see here. This is going to require some digging. There we go. Wait.
Eugene? No.
Yeah. Although he insisted in interviews that E.G. Marshall was his actual birth name, Marshall was actually born either as Everett Eugene Gruntz or Edda Gunnar Gruntz on June 18th in 1914 in Ottawa, Minnesota? MN?
Yeah.
Wait, that's not Ottawa. Owatonna. Huh. And today is
This
the
sounds
18th.
cold.
Yeah. All right, so I got to add that in. So this guy has a huge identity crisis. So, AKA. All right. Was that your 3? I lost track.
We can do one more.
Okay, go ahead.
1934, Barack Obama Sr., Kenyan economist. That's got to be Obama's daddy.
Yeah, Barack Obama Sr., 1934. Let's see here. Barack Obama Sr. Let's see here. Born 1934. Children, Barack Obama. Yep. That is the father of the guy who relentlessly destroyed innocent lives with drone bombings. Anyway, moving on up into 1937, Bruce Trigger was born on this date. That's a triggering name right there. I wonder if he was a gunsmith. He was a Canadian archaeologist, anthropologist, and historian, dying in 2006. 1937 as well, we have Vitaly Zolobov, a Ukrainian colonel, engineer, and cosmonaut. And my source, once again...
I'll be right back.
I'm sorry?
I'll be right back.
All right. My source, once again, mislabeled him as an astronaut, Ukraine in 1937, Not an astronaut.
That's not American.
No. 1942, Roger Ebert, who was a U.S. journalist, critic, and screenwriter, dying in 2013. I remember that was the guy who got jaw cancer and they had to remove his entire lower jaw or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember.
He couldn't talk. Yeah. 1942 as well with Paul McCartney, English singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Is that from the Beatles?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey.
Right? Paul McCartney.
Yeah. He's still alive.
Well, it doesn't say the death here. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the parentheses is the Beatles.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah,
okay.
it is.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
Well, I'm stammering because he's still alive.
Oh.
There's no date. Okay.
Yeah. 1947, Bernard Girardieu was a French actor, director, producer, and screenwriter, dying 12 years ago in 2010. 1952, Isabella Rossellini is an Italian actress, director, producer, and screenwriter. 1952 as well, Lee So-man is a South Korean singer and businessman who founded SM Entertainment. 1955, Ed Fast, Canadian lawyer and politician. 1959, Joanna Solabihir is a U.S. animation screenwriter and producer. 1 year later, 1960, Barbara Broccoli was born on the States. She is a U.S. director and producer. What a last name.
I like broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah. It's good. Has a lot of iron in it, 1961, Oz Fox is a U.S. singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer, and that can't be his actual name. Let me look it up here real quick. Oz Fox. Nope. Richard Alfonso Martinez. All right. I love the internet. You can figure these things out, so that way people can't hide behind false monikers. 1964. Here's a name we both know: Usay Hussein, Iraqi commander, dying in 2003.
Yeah.
1973. Gavin Wanganeen, Australian footballer and coach. 1982, Nathan Cavallari, Australian singer, songwriter, guitarist, and actor. 1985, Alex Hirsch, U.S. animator and television producer. You back yet, Sohan?
Keep going.
1989, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, French-born Gabonese footballer. And 1993, Dennis Lloyd, an Israeli musician, producer, singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. Moving on up into death, starting in the year 741, Leo III the Isaurian was a Byzantine emperor, born in 685. 908, Zhang Hao, general of Yang Wei, birth unknown. 1164, Elizabeth of Schanau, German Benedictine visionary, born the christening though 1129. What's the born again thing? What is it the Catholics do?
You got me.
No, they do. You're born again Catholic or whatever. Like they put you in water.
Baptize you.
Baptize. I think that might be a baptism or something.
Okay.
Because normally it says birth,
Uh-huh.
but then it says BC every now and then. So I don't know what BC is. I know BC stands for before Christ or before Common Era, but this is somebody's birth date.
That's written in a different way.
Yeah. They were not born in 1129 BC. They are not over 2,000 years old.
Right.
So I don't know. Anyway, jumping on up into 1673, Jeanne Mance died on this date. They were a French-Canadian. She was a French-Canadian nurse who founded the Hotel Dieu de Montreal, born in 1606. 1860, Friedrich Wilhelm von Bismarck was a German army officer and writer, born in 1783. 1905, Carmine Crocco, Italian soldier, born in 1830. 1916, Max Immelmann was a German lieutenant and pilot, born in 1890. 1928, Roald Amundsen, Norwegian pilot and explorer, was born in 1872. He was one of the Arctic explorers, and he explored like the something passage the other day, and everything. Yeah. Actually, let me pull him up here. You might recognize this picture, because this is a pretty good explorer here. Let's see. Let me find images. This guy.
I have seen that face.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
So he died on this date in 1928. Hey, that rhymed. I'm a poet and I don't know it. 1959, Ethel Barrymore was a U.S. actress. She was born in 1879, and I wonder if she has any relation to Drew Barrymore.
Sure. Absolutely. The whole Barrymore family.
Well, I just want to double check, for integrity. Children. Ethel Barrymore Colt, John Drew Colt, Samuel Cole. Samuel Cole? What, the gun?
So it would have been
gun
her
guy?
great-grandfather. John Barrymore was her grandfather.
Okay, siblings, John Barrymore. Children, John Drew Barrymore, Diana Barrymore. So is this Drew Barrymore? John Drew Barrymore.
Well, that's probably where she got her name from,
Oh.
John Drew. John Barrymore was an actor, and I think it was her grandfather, not her father. I think it was her grandfather.
Anyway, 1974, Julio Cesar de Melo e Souza, Brazilian mathematician and academic, born in 1896. 1989, I.F. Stone. What's their real name here? It's I.F. Stone. Isidore Fahrenstein I.F. Stone. So let's see here. Let me add that in real quick. Was a U.S. journalist and author. He was born in 1907. 1992, Kofor Abeni Pratt, the first black chief nursing officer of Nigeria, was born in 1910. That seems a little late,
Yeah.
But Nigeria, really, 1993, Craig Rodwell was a U.S. activist who founded the Oscar Wilde Bookshop, was born in 1940. 1996, Endel Pusep, Estonian Soviet military pilot and politician, was born in 1909. 2015, Ralph J. Roberts, U.S. businessman who co-founded Comcast. I don't know about that. Born in 1920. 2015 as well, Danny Villanueva was a U.S. football player and broadcaster who co-founded Univision. Was born in 1937. 2016, Jeppy R. was an Indian educationalist who founded and was a chancellor of Sathyabama University, born in 1931.
You went there, right?
I don't believe so. I may have. I don't know. Wow. Dr. Jeppy R. I read that as first as Dr. Pepper. Because, all the letters are almost there pretty much. Just jumble them around.
Yeah.
2018, Agstentacion, U.S. rapper. This guy, was this guy the yelling Skittle?
I have no idea.
No.
That's not. That's 6ix9ine.
Oh,
You're
that's
talking
right.
about Extentacion.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pronounce this guy's name. His real name is Jesse Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy. A.K.A. How do you pronounce it again?
Extentacion.
Yeah. Why don't you take the last one here?
2020, Vera Lynn, English singer who was the force's sweetheart during World War II.
Yeah. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes
Showing TV on Twitch.
and everything Omni Coalition. Go check it out. You know, we don't just stream here. We have a different YouTube channel. We have a Rumble. We have a BitChute. We have an Odyssey. We're working on Twitch. Working on a Discord server. Really spreading our tentacles out there like a good little octopus. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time.
12 Central.
For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
I mean,
Golden Moon?
Who's the Golden Moon?
Who?
What?
When? Who's on first?
how?
And you are you. And until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles. Let's go, Brandon.